Local sports at its finest, live at 5 with Stephen A. Turner and Vic Evans on 102.7 The Game.
Live at 5, brought to you by Foreman Watson Holtry, FWHlegal.com. Floor Concept Studio, Stephen A. Turner, Coach Vic Evans. The Kicking It text line is wide open, 270-903-0389. Time to jump into the 2023 ESPN Owensboro All-Area Softball Team. And we'll do what we did yesterday, kind of go through the group and then comment from there. You got a pretty good idea. It's going to be a lot of flavor from two big-time programs. But the infielders, Vic, we'll start with Henderson County. Kendall Hargrove, a .421 hitter, 12 homers, 41 RBIs. Jemiah Byram from Henderson County, .367, 13 homers, 43 RBIs. And then Anna Willett, .441, 7 homers, 40 RBIs. I mean, every one of those players are over 40 RBIs. How many runs this team drove in on the year?
A bunch.
I can tell you it's at least 120 because all those.
It's an absolute bunch.
My goodness. I mean, that's Henderson County on the infield, and then rounding out the infield.
Make sure you had 2 home runs of that one.
She hit 2 last night, so give her 7 home runs on the season. The freshman from Davis County, Annie Newman, a .486 hitter on the season. And what's that? 32 RBIs. I can even not do that math, right? 32 RBIs. So you got Henderson and Davis County, a lot of flavor there on the infield.
Get used to it through the whole team.
And these are players, Vic, that are still playing, that can still add to these totals as we roll through. And, you know, people, it's just hard. I mean, when you got Henderson in your area and you got Davis County in your area.
When you're ranked 4 and 5 in the state,
it's hard to spread the love. You know, we love to spread the love.
Yeah, it's really hard to do. You were asking, they've scored 345 runs this year.
345 runs and lead the state in bombs.
And lead the state in bombs.
And Davis County, man, right there. Of course, you know what they have, what they bring to the table. Let's go ahead and get to our outfield here really quick, and we'll go back to Henderson County. And, hey, you know, one of our Player of the Year candidates, she was right there right up
probably
until,
runner-up.
She was right there until about 2 weeks ago in the season. I think it kind of became clear. But Taylor Troutman would probably be our runner-up for Player of the Year, Henderson County. 515 average on the season, 10 homers. I think she hit one last night, so probably 11 homers now. And then 49 RBIs. She had 3 last night, so 52 RBIs on the season.
It's not bad. And such a sweet left-handed swing.
Oh, absolutely.
That's absolutely gorgeous.
Absolutely. Now we can spread the love around a little bit here in the outfield. How about Jocelyn Noe from Muhlenberg County? A .495 average, 36 runs scored, and 20 RBIs. What a tremendous season for Muhlenberg County's Jocelyn Noe.
Yeah, she had a huge year all year long. All year was right up there with our Vineyard primary care stat leaders, whether it be hits, runs scored, average. Just a monster year for the Mustang down there.
Yeah, and then down in Meade County to round out the outfield, Riley Webb, a .481 hitter, 8 homers, 31 RBIs, and brings that presence down there. We talked about. I look back today on our baseball and softball previews of what we highlighted when we did our previews, and I know the big question was about the walks.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, when you come off a season like she had, we talked about Daniels too. You know, you got that protection lineup. It's hard to walk her, and people started to at the beginning of the year, but the other players on the team, once they started picking her up, you started to see those numbers increase again. You can't pitch around her, nowhere to go, and another tremendous year for Webb. Back-to-back, really, really good.
Yeah, I think this is back-to-back first teams, for Webb, and just a tremendous player.
No doubt about it. Then, move to the catcher, DH, and as we mentioned yesterday, utility. You got to get kind of tricky when you start to get into these things. And how about Butler County? I mean, a tremendous year. I think the team that we misjudged the most out of any team probably in the region.
Maybe in the history of us preseason, this was the biggest miss in all sports in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah. So Butler County Barstow clipped that.
Yes.
We missed it.
We missed it.
I know you're surprised, but nevertheless, you got some great players on that team, starting with Madison Clark behind the plate there, .437 average on the season, 9 home runs, 38 RBIs for Madison Clark, and her teammate, Parker Willoughby, who I believe is just a freshman.
Just a freshman
there, .479, 36 runs scored, 20 RBIs there.
And the most amazing is that 1 strikeout as a freshman. She had 5 as a sophomore. I mean, that's pretty amazing. And then the other one that's down there we're talking about is Carrington Hunt. None as an 8th grader and 1 as a sophomore or as a freshman.
Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah, so, I mean, you played 2 years of high school, high level, third region softball in 2 years, and you struck out 5 times.
And for Carrington Hunt, I mean, that's a name that you'll see on this list.
Yes.
Just hang in there, keep working. I guarantee it's loaded. This area is absolutely loaded when it comes to softball talent. And then you got to go back to Henderson County. I mean, you got to get Hallie McCracken, 370 on the season, 7 homers, 51 RBIs.
That's if she didn't get any last night. They scored a bunch of runs last night.
They did score a bunch. Yeah,
so
I didn't get her down. She might have got one.
Okay.
She might have got one in there, but that's a bunch nevertheless. And then rounding out this category here, Sadie Morris from Davis County, a .417 hitter, 7 homers, 43 runs scored on the season for Morris.
Yeah, and another great year. I mean, she hits lead off a lot of times for them and really sets the table with 43 runs scored. And it makes things a lot easier for Newman and Daniels when your leadoff's not on the base that often. Get a lot of RBI opportunities.
This team is impossible. I'm just going to tell you. I mean, I think we did pretty good as far as statistically. But here's the thing. Like, when you're talking about teams like Davis County and Henderson, you can go 7 or 8 deep and find young ladies, if you put them on another team, their numbers probably fly off the page even more. I mean,
yes.
You get kind of overshadowed even when you're batting .430, but you're 7th on the team in batting average. You know what I'm saying? Like, that makes it really hard. So, especially when we don't get to see all the games. You know, I think one thing that the regional tournament, watching every game and watching through the district and regional, taught me was there's so many things that we can't factor in to games we don't see. It's really, really hard because, you know, Matthew Smith, for example, he made all those plays at shortstop, and you're like, man, there's no way this kid can be left off the first team. He's probably doing that all year, but he's flying under the radar. And I think there's probably some young ladies out there that'll feel snubbed. They're flying under the radar. Maybe a couple of them will still be playing. So at the end of the day, just go hoist that state championship trophy, and this team will pale in comparison.
Yeah, and you know, unless you want to have the team of, I mean, there's always going to be people that, you know, that have a legit argument of being on a team like this. And that's one of the things about all the teams that we cover. And it becomes when you do make this team, it becomes a big time award. I mean, you're talking about, you know, 18 to 20 teams that we cover in softball and baseball. And you're talking about in the softball area, like we talked about, the number 4 ranked team in the state, the number 5 ranked team in the state, Catholics ranked in the state.
Yeah, I mean, at one point in the Kansas Dairy Queen top 10, like 7 of the 10 were top 40 teams in the state.
Right. And so it is not, when you make this team, it's actually, you've done something. And just because you just missed being on this team doesn't take away from the year that you had.
Yeah, don't let it discourage you. That's for sure, because
it's just
so.
It's not like we're that smart.
No.
Now I did bounce this team off a few people that are in the softball world to see and make sure you're not missing somebody. And I think they said, hey, it's an impossible task, but you're pretty right on.
Yeah, I mean, with Henderson in the listening area, it just takes up so many spots on the team. But we'll move it now to the pitchers, and there would be another Henderson County flavor over there. But we got to start with the pitch. Don't forget now, too, just because we didn't mention you on the team, there's still awards left to be given.
Yeah, there's still a couple big ones.
So if you're a pitcher or Jesse Daniels, just hang on, because you're still going to get mentioned. The pitcher side of things, we got to start with Lily Roberts. And, you know, even though she went down and missed, you know, the last third of the season, she's still 220 strikeouts, 13 wins, and a 180 ERA.
And you saw also what she meant to that team.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about that was a top 3 team in the poll all year long when she's on the mound, and then a team that was never the same afterwards.
Yeah, and if you missed it, she did have successful surgery. Everything went well. They will rebuild her. They will make her stronger. They will make her faster, and look out for next year. Because I'm thinking
400 strikeouts.
She had 220 when she went down.
She went over. She was 360 her sophomore year. Remember,
12 a game. I said 12 a game. Yeah. I just snubbed her about 3. I think she's averaging 15 a game.
I think she was at 360 her sophomore year. So if she's going to come back bigger, stronger, faster, you got to get to 400.
400. That's a lot. That's a lot.
400 next year, Lily, or it's a disappointment.
Oh yeah, you know it. Yeah, but I'm glad to hear she got through surgery well, and enjoy your summer there, Lily. And we'll look forward to seeing you back out there for basketball next season. Hopefully, get the recovery, get the Adrian Peterson time frame on that ACL, and get back out there real fast. And if anybody can do it, it would be Lily Roberts. And of course, we mentioned in the third region recap there, Brooke Hamilton. I mean, MVP level year, 18 wins, 218 strikeouts, 2.13 ERA, and then what she did at the plate too.
Right, she was right there with Troutman and our Player of the Year. She was probably right there with those three,
no doubt, for what she brought to the table for a top 25 team in Owensboro Catholic all year long. For Henderson County, it's Anna Kemp. As we just talked about last night, got another victory under her belt, made her get 20 wins on the season, 192 strikeouts. She added 10 to that last night. She's over 200 as well, a 1.73 ERA for Anna Kemp from the Henderson County Lady Colonels. You have Avery Gleason, who will make it from Butler County. What a year. Led the Vineyard Primary Care stat leaders there with 21 wins, 105 strikeouts, a 2.75 ERA, and that's a number that will get better as she gains some more experience. And then closing for the team will be Meade County's Callie Wiles out there, and she had 5 saves on the season.
Yeah,
right?
9 wins,
kind of
5 saves.
Stat for fast pitch softball, I feel like, but you got to acknowledge it when she's at the 5 saves numbers with 9 wins and a 2.22 ERA.
Yeah, unbelievable year for her, and you just don't see that a lot. But they kind of use with her and the starting pitcher, kind of balanced them out. She was always the one kind of closing.
Yeah, so a tremendous year for everybody on. If you made this team, then you're an elite.
Yes,
elite, because there is some great softball players that are just right under there. And I'm sure next year, because the youth movement is real in baseball and softball, so you have your chances again next season. We do have a Player of the Year to give away. We have a Coach of the Year to give away. We have a Pitcher of the Year to give away. And I have a sneaking suspicion they may all be from one school. We'll close it out next, live at 5, 102.7.